So here we got a really old electric Westinghouse electric motor. So we're gonna tear it apart and get the copper out of it. So I'm gonna probably end up having to hacksaw these off, use a cutoff wheel for these. I'm gonna use an impact flathead for these. The pulley surprisingly came off really easily. So I already got the back taken apart here. Got the electrical wire cover come off, cut those off. So the back should pop off. I'm gonna pull the front off, the bolts, and then pull them both off at the same time. So I'll let you see how it goes. Okay, so I've got the covers taken apart. It wasn't the easiest, but you know, I don't know the exact date of this, but it's pretty old. So we've got a dirty area with the assuming copper wire winding. Still got some bolts to take off, some stranded wire to snip off. So the downfall about the old electric motor is these here. Typically nowadays they're cast aluminum. These are cast steel, so real heavy. Pretty much just scrap steel prices. So this the arbor here, it's kind of cool. It's old, so I'm not sure if you've seen one this way before. Looks as if it's aluminum embedded into the steel arbor, so no way to really get anything out of that. So I guess heat it up a little bit, but I'm not going to do that. So okay, so what I did basically with the arbor, just throw it in that arbor pile, bucket or whatever. One thing I do like to save are the actual points. There's a little pointing scenario in here. I'm assuming or hoping that there's silver, but you know, it just goes in a giant pile, little points. So what I do with the wires here, see these ones here, these are the copper wires. Got a little copper wire kind of exposed there, but I just take the cutters, cut them right open. You can see those are copper wires, so a little pinkish color. So basically, and I say straighten them out, just pull them, straighten them out like so, get them so they're not rounded. You go in here, it's just that basically it's like the inner windings. Pull out basically use a pry bar, pull the wires out, cut those. Come in, straighten them out. See, this just seems to be some old school paper stuff in there, so. Straighten them out. Sorry, horrible camera guy here. So I'm going to use these bolts. Usually I take all the bolts out, but just pry that, get that open. So, okay, now might end up needing I go bigger pry bar, so you can see the sections of the windings of what I usually do. These ones are normally thicker wires, so I just kind of get in there and separate them as is. Takes a little bit longer, but I guess it saves on the pliers, you know. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to cut some stuff you've already cut. So you have all these little strands everywhere. More stuff you got to clean up. So get in there. Those. basically just want to make sure that you don't cut the wires you've already cut, because then you start having, like I said, a big mess. A lot easier to just cut them. It's, for me, it seems like it's been a lot easier to cut them, straighten them out. Let's just probably try go straight to pulling this one row out for you guys. So just show you real quick, and then I'll get them home. Like I said, though, this is an older electric motor, so not gonna be that easy. Might get lucky, we will see. Okay. Basically just try to straighten them out as much as possible. Strings, cut these strings out of the way. Basically just pry in there, separate these loose, the little, I call them like the little wire run. So there's still stranded wires in this one. I just haven't taken them off yet, so it's kind of okay. So let me try it here. I'll show you real quick. Get a pry bar in here underneath the first run. It's hard to, might flip the pry bar around, so alright, so let me set this down and we'll get pull some of these wires out. But basically, it's just put some pry bar in there and muscle them out. So it's just hard to, obviously hard to hold the camera in this at the same time. So here we are back on the electric motor. Had to break off and then come back another day. So basically what I did, like I said before, you separate the inner winding, the smaller wires from the larger winding wires. Those are easier to bend. You get a bigger pry bar, bend these ones out. These are the larger wires. So basically what I say, straighten them out. I just kind of push them so that when they go through, they're a lot more straighter, you know, because they got pretty good 90 bend on them. Make them real hard to pull out. So, and then what you can do is you can come to this side. See, I already have one rung already kind of pulled out. Use the big crowbar. But what you can do is you just come in, you just grab like one wire, you just pull it. You know, and it comes right out. No issues at all. Some will be locked up and melted together, whatever. Grab another wire. There's another wire. Just pull it. Come in. This is probably the easiest way to strip these. You know, get another wire out of there. And once you get a couple of them out of there, they'll start moving. And you basically can just almost pull the whole piece out, the whole run at that point. So come here. Just trying to, you know, come in and get another, just one wire. Pull it out. Another wire. Pull it out. So here's another single wire. Just pull it out. And then basically, if you look, you'll see all those wires. You can, you know, they'll start to move. You can pull a bit in and out. Basically, you should just be able to get a couple wires out. You should be able to just pull the whole run out, just with your hands. You know, no pry bars or nothing. So, you just all the hard work at first, and then just slowly, you know, get room in there where they can wiggle out and come out, and then it's just so much easier. It takes time, but you know, every couple hours, you know, you get an hour or two here to spend playing around with this is, you know, just something that stay productive. So basically, you just keep pulling them until those are there. Get the copper out of the steel, and then you can just do whatever you want with it. Recycle it, melt it. This was a really old electric motor, so the copper here is probably some of the best copper, you know. Nowadays, everything's recycled, on top of recycled, so. Alrighty, thank you. Okay, so tearing this old Westinghouse electric motor apart became easier, you know, clamping it to the table so that it's solid to the workforce table. I'll just show you here, got a couple pry bars so you see what's kind of getting yourself into here. Then you got the massive pry bar here, and snap-on pry bar, so that's the probably better one. Once you start having issues, just pull that out. And then I have cable cutters, so basically just use these for copper. When I get to the smaller ones, I use these ones. So you see here I already have some out. Basically cut them, cut one side, you get all of the ends straight, pretty much try to get them straight, but that's what the big pry bar is for, just in case you start having issues. And so basically come on to this side here, sorry, and you will start on a run. Easier, you know, easier the smaller amount of copper, so you know, you just pretty much just keep prying. I got the camera in one hand and the pry bar in another, so just kind of show you. I could tear this apart pretty quick with both hands, but so you basically just take the pry bar and just keep prying. You know, one side will come out most of the time. So this one here is the thinner strands of the windings, so these ones are fairly easier to pull out. So once again, you just get like one or two strands, and then they will all come out. So as you notice here, so these are the larger winding wires here to here. So these ones are those ones are a lot stiffer. So that's where the pry bar really is going to come into play. So you just take this guy. Put it in there. And just keep, you know. It's just, you know, it takes time, but it's all your labor, you know. So. You know. Sometimes I take and I can actually wrap it around the pry bar, you know, if it gets one strand out, you know, on one side, you can just go and wrap it around the pry bar and it pulls that piece out too. So you can just keep working it. Sorry, my camera sucks. The camera guy sucks, so I'm one-handed here, so it's not coming out like I want it, but I'm just kind of showing you how I take a large pry bar, get in there, and just keep working it out. So once you can get the bar in there, and so just keep on prying until they come out. So it'd go a lot faster if I had both my hands on this. I was just showing you basically. So, alrighty. That's basically how I strip these copper wires out of there. So these ones here are aluminum, so they're just going to get thrown on the aluminum steel pile. So alrighty, thank you. Okay, so here's the completely stripped electric motor. Just obviously the aluminum channels. Those are the old square head, flat head bolts scenario. So that kind of gives you a sign of how old this is. You know, so basically my bandsaw, just have to get in there, and bandsaw, grinder. Bandsaw is cleaner, grinders got all your safety gear. So that's it. There's all your copper wiring. Basically you just pull it all out, smash it into big balls, and then I just put it back into a container back in the back rack until I want to melt some metal. So Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Okay, so in case you were wondering what ends up happening at the end of that strip down, I basically just have a plastic tote. This is all copper, you know, from the teardowns of the electric windings. So it's all basically, you know, we have copper piping and basically winding wire. No insulated wire. This is all just raw copper. So copper, straight copper, whatnot. So then come over here. This is the aluminum copper winding bucket, and then this one, there's my almost 5 gallons of spark plugs, dirty copper. Those are all the cut ends, just all kinds of brass, mostly brass and plastic stuff. Dirty copper, more of the electric motor windings and stuff. So these are stainless and brass. So that's basically, you know, I have all that set aside so that when I do strip, I have somewhere to put it. So they'll go into there, and then they go into the racks. So, all right, thanks again for watching.